Broadcasting from the C lot of Joan C. Edwards Stadium, the ThunderCast is here with all the sights and sounds of game day. We are your tailgate destination. We are your fan base amplification. We are the ThunderCast, and we are live. Welcome to ThunderCast Live. It is homecoming week in Huntington. As per the norm, Russ is steadfast at the ThunderCast tailgate, live and in person at the stadium, and I, of course, am down here in sunshiny Tampa, Florida, bringing you my version of what's going to happen today live from my studio. But look, it's Herd homecoming. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are in town. This is a still must-win game for Marshall, as most all of them are for the remainder of the season. But I guess the biggest news of the day is that it's homecoming, and there's nothing like homecoming in Huntington, West Virginia. Russ, it's still very, very early. We have still more than 2.5 hours before kickoff. And I'd like to remind everybody, that is still plenty of time to hop in the car and drive to Huntington take advantage of $13 tickets to this game.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Russ, it's still early, but it looks like there's a fair amount of folks behind you that I can see walking around. So are the lots indeed filling up? What's the vibe around town here nice and early before kickoff?
Yeah, I was over here a little bit early to secure the spots here in the C lot so we could have this set up right on the alley like we wanted to do. And there was still some people out here at 1 o'clock when I did that. And now, you know, it's pushing 4 o'clock and everything's filling up. This C lot is not full, but over in the East lot, it's almost full. The West lot looks very good. A lot of people out. Beautiful weather. Couldn't ask for better. It's like maybe 70 degrees, something like that. Sunny. Feels real good. A lot of people out and having a good time. A couple people over here off screen, KD, that you would recognize.
Saw Dana standing back there already.
Yeah. I got Dana and Creamer and Brandon over here right off screen. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about the matchup here today. I mean, obviously we expect a really tough opponent for Marshall because Coastal Carolina boasts one of the best offenses in the conference, one of the best quarterbacks in the conference, and we say this repeatedly over and over every week. If you've got a good quarterback, you've got an opportunity to win just about every game. So the line on this game hasn't changed much from when we did the weekly episode and the preview just a few days ago. It's pushed a little bit more. I think it was Marshall -2 when we recorded. It's now Marshall -2.5, and the over-under has dropped by a point down to 54. But still, that's not enough movement for me to indicate one way or another that something is brewing here that we weren't aware of already.
Sure.
So, what do you feel? Has your I don't know, your synopsis of this game changed? Has your feeling changed? Have you heard anything one way or the other that is making you maybe lean a different way in terms of either the Herd scoring more points or the Herd not scoring as many points as you thought earlier in the week?
No, I'm still around the same. I had it as Herd winning 32-23. I feel like Grayson McCall will hit the end zone a couple of times, but he's going to have his hands or not his hands. He's going to have this he'll have his hands full. He's going to have defense in his face, I feel like, and that was one of my keys that we're going to have to disrupt him. I think the Herd turns loose a little bit. We saw a lot of different play calls, a lot more passes downfield in the James Madison game. I feel like we'll do that again with Fancher. Plays over the middle. Again, he's a threat with the wheels. I feel like that what was a concern going into that game of field position, I feel like we're turned the corner on that, and we'll put ourselves in a good position to score 4 touchdowns or thereabouts today.
Yeah, I was wondering if you still like the Herd to get the 30-point,
I do.
watermark, or maybe
Yeah.
eclipse it by a little bit.
Yeah.
To me, this one feels like just a little bit of an expansion of the playbook because of, not only the familiarity with Cam and running the offense that he's been run all year long, but
Uh-huh.
now you're the guy for an entire game. You didn't sub
Yeah.
out last game. They weren't
Right.
playing the two quarterback system at all. So I think maybe if he does get the nod this week, and we've speculated all along that he will, because well, he's the hot hand, right? He got the win on the road against just fresh off the heels of being a top 25 team. So I think it would be a little bit, probably of a tall ask for the Marshall defense to give you a mirror image effort of what we saw at Old Dominion. But I don't think you will see too much off of that. It will be probably a very similar game. We like the fact that this Herd defensive line is very athletic, very fast, and again, violent and disruptive. So I think a lot of responsibility is going to fall on the offensive line of Coastal Carolina to be able to handle those guys and be able to handle them for 4 quarters. And we've talked about how deep they go, and especially with a guy like Tyquez Legs, if he's playing again this week, that just makes them even more deep.
Yeah.
So, you can rotate guys in throughout the game and really not see a drop off in production from that unit. And I think that just lends itself to a very, very tough assignment for this Coastal Carolina offensive line, especially if they are having trouble early, or if they go by the way like James Madison did and have a guy get dinged up and not be able to return to action. So that there to me is an area to keep an eye on, as it has been in most games this season for Marshall. If the defensive line seems to be successful, then Marshall as a whole seems to be successful. It lends itself to the secondary coming down with an interception or two because of like what you're talking about, pressure and getting the quarterback off of his spot and forcing those decisions a little bit quicker and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you get a few licks on the guy too and get him on the ground. And, we've seen Marshall thrive in the sack fumble area. We've seen them thrive in just the forced fumble area. So that doesn't worry me too much. I do think McCall will have his successes. He has his successes against just about everyone. So it's more about weathering those storms, limiting those big plays, and going score for score, with Coastal. They can put up some points, but I don't know if we get down by 14, or 17, if we'll be able to play the type of game that we'll be wanting to play to claw back into it. But, Kalen Laburn in this run game has fooled me a couple of times in games like that in the past. So,
well, here's my take. If you look at the resume of Coastal coming in here, they have struggled in many of their games. They could easily have a much worse record than what they have. They have pulled out some games. Now there's something to be said for that, but it has not looked good, especially 31-27, if I'm remembering correctly, against Gardner-Webb. They struggled mightily. You've got a good quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over, that sort of thing, and we've talked about that, how valuable that is. You've mentioned it already. But we're not Gardner-Webb, and we're not the teams that they've played up to this point. I feel like our defense is probably the best defense that they will see all year, possibly. I don't think that they play anyone that has the turnovers and the pressure and things that we will bring to this game.
Well, I'm looking down their schedule, and we, didn't want to get into this during the weekly episode, but now we have a little bit of extra time. This is all we're talking about, so let's dive into that a little bit. I have the schedule in front of me, and they haven't blown out anyone. And by blowout, I mean, that 24, 28-point victory. They haven't had that. Their biggest win of the season was a 17-point victory over Georgia State, who is struggling mightily this year.
Yeah.
And they're fresh off the heels of getting boat raced at home by Old Dominion. We've talked about that. They gave up 49 to Old Dominion, over 300 yards rushing to that Monarchs offense. I mean, it's just not that's just not what you can expect to do and expect to win. But the record, you're right. They've pulled some games out. They've played some teams that may not be, we would be lying to you if we told you we knew where every team was ranked, 1 through 130-ish.
Yeah.
But they've got a 10-point win over Army to open up, then that 4-point eked out win against Gardner-Webb.
Yeah.
38-26 at home over Buffalo. The 17-point win on the road against Georgia State. A 4-point win at home against Georgia Southern. I think that was the one where they needed the Myrtle Hurdle to win that game late.
I believe so.
And then a 28-21 victory over UL Monroe on the road, and then a boat racing at the hands of Old Dominion back home in Conway, which brings us here to the game today in Huntington. So if all those teams we just talked about, I think it goes without saying that Marshall's defense is the toughest that they will have played up to this point in the season.
Yeah, and up to this point, but I also think for the rest of their schedule, I can't imagine. I mean, they will have to play James Madison. James Madison has a good defense, but I still think that we have a better passing defense than they do. And eventually I think it'll even out to their rushing defense, which is currently a little bit better than ours as far as yards given up to date, will change to where we will be kind of neck and neck. So I think that our defense is better than James Madison's, even though James Madison has obviously a very good defense.
Yeah, the big difference to me defensively for the Herd, like I said, versus some of these other teams they've played, is Marshall's just got the ability to turn you over. And they do that quite a bit, and it seems like when we are able to do that, we become ridiculously formidable. So not being able to get a turnover here and there, if you let those guys keep a clean sheet in the turnover department, I'm not sure it's going to be a very easy day for the Herd. But if they're able to turn McCall over and those guys a couple times and add a few more possessions to that Marshall offense and keep McCall standing over on the sideline watching Laburn and crew, run it down the field, then, that obviously is going to make things a lot easier for Marshall. But the point of all this is, I guess in the grand scheme of things, you've got to win today because A, it's homecoming, B, it's a home game. And Marshall lost their last game at home against a Sun Belt Conference team. You've got to be able to protect Joan C. Edwards Stadium. And if you can do it against Coastal Carolina, I feel like you can go on a little bit of a run and start feeling a little bit better about your chances. But if you drop this one, this is going to be immensely hard to, get to get those extra 3 wins with only 4 games remaining. It's going to be pretty tough.
One of the things that I brought up on our weekly podcast about this Coastal Carolina team is at the time they were 106th out of 131 as far as plays per minute or whatever, however
tempo.
Tempo, but however that came out, I think it's plays per minute, but
yeah, it is.
They were 123 last year, so it's not an anomaly. This is kind of like what they do with McCall is it's running more clock and that sort of thing. So I feel like if they get behind, they will have to speed up and possibly put him in different situations where we're doing what we were doing at James Madison, putting a lot of pressure on him, and they have to come back from behind, so they have to throw. And it could be that he gets those first little kinks in the armor where he's only thrown for 1 interception so far this year, that maybe we get 1 or 2 and just drastically change this game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I still can't come off of the fact that, you give up, as a Coastal defense, you give up over 300 yards rushing to Old Dominion.
Right.
And I'm not slighting Old Dominion, right?
Sure.
But they're not known to be this power rushing team that you expect to routinely go over 300 yards a game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a game where there were a lot of turnovers by Coastal to where Old Dominion was gifted a bunch of possessions. They just went out and ran the daggone football.
Right.
And if we know one thing about Marshall, it's they can run the daggone football.
Yeah.
So if that is the real, Achilles heel of this Coastal Carolina defense, look out, because if you're already fielding the number 2 rusher in the country, the number 1 rusher in the Sun Belt Conference, the leader in all-purpose yardage in the Sun Belt Conference, and you have a problem as a defense stopping the run, And oh, by the way, we have been expecting Cam Fancher to get the start at quarterback, who is a terribly quick quarterback.
Yes.
This could be a problem for Coastal. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Marshall's going to run away with this game, because we know that anything can happen. And just because they're favored at home doesn't mean they're going to win the game. This is going to be a tough game. They're going to have to play their, one of their better games on defense, and probably give a few extra possessions back to this offense to make something happen. But hey, if you can't stop the run, that's a recipe for disaster for most teams anyway. Particularly if you're not very quick at scoring. If you like to put sustained drives together like you're talking about, then enough of these things go against you, and you start to feel a little bit better about what Marshall can do, so long as they don't fumble inside the 5,
right?
Or go out and have a few drive killing penalties, or give up a big defensive score or a special team score. Some of those things that take the air out of your sails after you're building something on offense. But let's say we revisit your keys to victory, Russ, and before we move into, we'll talk about some of the herd guys in a minute that we think could have a big day today.
Okay.
But let's revisit your keys to victory, if you can recall them or most of them, for what Marshall has to do as a team.
So we definitely, and I can bring them up, but I'll go down to the first one, is that we have to get pressure on McCall. And I talked about that a little bit already, but if you disrupt him and you force errors, disrupt McCall and force errors, that was the number one thing. You put him in a situation to where basically it's new ground for him this year. He's had one interception. We've talked about their passing efficiency because of the touchdowns to interception ratio that he has. I feel like if we get back there, we do QB hurries, even if we're not getting sacks, we get a couple of forced errors. Again, that's going to drastically change field position. It's going to drastically change scoring opportunities, especially if we could get a field-changing turnover. Not necessarily a pick six, but they're in our end of the field, and we get a return that puts it back to where we have a short field. Drastically going to change the outcome of the game.
Yeah. I thought my first key to victory, my first key to victory in this game, is Marshall's going to have to win on first and second down. Of course, that means offensively keeping yourself in third and short, or just converting that first down on second down and never really getting to a third and whatever. But also that means on defense as well, winning first and second down, minimal gains on first and second down for this Coastal offense, or negative plays, forcing them into third and longs, I feel like are almost paramount, because Marshall does a great job on third down defense anyway. But if you're talking about a guy that's, a pretty prolific passer in the Sun Belt Conference, I don't think he gets deterred at a 3rd and 8, at a 3rd and 10. That's probably a play that they think they can pick up a lot of times.
Yeah.
It starts to change a little bit when you're talking about 3rd and 13 or, a little bit longer. So I think definitely, number one, Marshall has to win first and second down.
My second key to victory was field position. I talked about it a little bit, if we were able to flip the field. But if we have a short field and we are making them have these longer drives, it's just more opportunities that, one, it's going to take them a long time, I feel, because of their tempo. They're a slow it down kind of deal. So if they're constantly having to go 80-plus yards, if we can pin them back inside their red zone, it's just going to help us so much. I feel like that our tempo will be able to score quickly if we do everything that we should or we could. But they will probably run that clock down, and it will be a deficient area for them if we can control that field position.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, again, we're going to bring up the fact that they like to survive on sustained drives, not that quick strike offense. They have quick strike capability, of course,
Sure.
but it's just not something that seems like it's in their wheelhouse, and the statistics back that up. So keeping them on a longer field, especially if you can go up a score or two or 14, 17 points,
Yeah.
and having to force them to sustain drives while also being able to consistently run the football while Marshall has the ball, you may just flat out run out of opportunities to make it happen, sooner than the average quick strike team would. You look up at the clock and you're like, all right, we got 8 minutes left in this game. We're probably going to get the ball 3 or 4 times still yet. And a team like that may only get it 2 times, maybe 3 times, so I can start to appreciate more so that key to victory. Mine, of course, was Marshall's defensive line's just got to be cut loose,
Yeah.
just like we saw them against James Madison.
Absolutely.
We cut them loose and they feasted. And I don't know much about the Coastal Carolina offensive line, so let me put that out there. But there's not too many teams in this conference that can go snap for snap with our defensive line for an entire 4-quarter game and maybe a little bit of overtime if necessitated, and be able to consistently stop all of those guys from making plays.
Well, let's be honest. It does not. I didn't mean to cut you off. It does not.
That's okay.
It does not matter if it is in our division, our conference, G5, P5. Anyone playing how Marshall's defense played last week, there's going to be. I mean, that's trouble for any team. I don't care how good their offensive line is, they're going to be trouble. If we could duplicate that amount of pressure, I mean, it was just an otherworldly game. If we do that today, there is no chance that they stay within 2 touchdowns of us. I just cannot see it.
If you can get close to a now, this is what Marshall's had last game against James Madison. 7 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hurries, and 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
If you can get anywhere close to that, you have to like the Herd's chances in this game. You have to. That's a lot to overcome, even for a polished passer like Grayson McCall, who probably runs a pretty efficient offense. He's been in the system for, 3 years now or 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Anywhere, anything, 5 sacks and a couple of, 8 tackles for loss and 3 interceptions. I mean, that's going to be a rough day for any quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, KD, I know that we've got at least one more on each, but
Sure.
I have a special guest, as you know, and I'm going to get her over here right now,
Okay.
and I'm going to have her put these headphones on. We have a very, very special guest today, and her name is Evelyn, and you know her very well, KD.
Oh, yeah.
Evelyn, tell us about today.
Today is really exciting
Okay, why is it exciting?
because it's my birthday.
It is your birthday. Now remember to look in the camera, and everyone that's watching, tell them how old you are.
I'm turning 7.
You're 7 years old today.
Yes.
I cannot believe it. KD, can you believe it?
I cannot, actually. That is a little bit of mind-boggling to me
It is.
because, I would have guessed at least 16 or 17. But just to hear 7, that's a little surprising. Evelyn,
did you
are
drive
you
over here
having
today?
a fun day? That's the big question. Is it been fun so far?
Yes, it has
Yeah?
been fun.
And what are you doing right now? What are we at?
Homecoming.
Well,
What do we call this?
Tailgate.
Yeah, we're at the tailgate, and you love tailgating because what do you like to eat at the tailgate? What have you had so far?
Uncrustables.
Say it into the mic and look up here.
Uncrustables.
That is the tailgate food of choice for my kids.
Epitome of
That's
tailgate
right.
food,
That's right.
Uncrustables. Somewhere Kyle Walker is laughing. That tops the hot dog comment by a mile. Uncrustables is the new
Somewhere
tailgate favorite.
Kyle Walker has his smoker, and he is putting some smoked Uncrustables to use along with some smoked hot dogs. I know he is. Evelyn, you turned 7 today, and we're going to go in the game later. And your little brother's here, and your older sister is here, but we're going to go in the game, and we're going to watch. And what do you think? Who is going to win?
Marshall?
Marshall is going to win. What do you think the score might be? We haven't talked about this.
I think 20.
20. All right. Marshall's going to score 20?
Yes.
Yes.
I
All right.
think so.
All right. So they're playing Coastal Carolina, and they have to have, if Marshall's going to win, they have to have a higher score. So what do you think Coastal Carolina will score? It has to be lower than 20. What do you think it'll be?
10.
10. So there you have it, folks. Vegas, get on it. 20-10. You're not going to find a prettier picker or a handicapper than Miss Evelyn Grace Livingood here, who turned 7 years old today. Evelyn, can you look? Go ahead.
I told everybody this was going to be our celebrity guest picker today on ThunderCast Live. So even though we didn't talk about this beforehand, I kind of figured we would get a score prediction out of that cute little thing.
Yeah, and I want to see everyone on Twitter or Facebook or on our YouTube comments. I want to know the dollar amount that you're putting down now that Evelyn Grace Livingood has picked Marshall 20-10. I want to know how much money you're putting on Marshall.
That's right.
Evelyn, are you putting any money on Marshall today?
I don't really know what you mean.
There you go.
well, that's fine, baby. Daddy loves you, and thank you for joining the ThunderCast with us today. And I'll be over there with you to finish your tailgate experience here very soon.
I love you too,
I
Daddy.
love you.
Happy birthday, Evelyn.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And it's also today my mama's birthday, too.
Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday to her, too.
Yeah. Guys, it really does not get any better than that. I love my kids. I am a girl dad. My 2 oldest are girls, and just having her here today, when we knew early in the year that it was going to be a Saturday on her birthday. We knew it was going to be a game day. Didn't know if it was going to be home or away. And when the schedule came out and we knew, we were like, hey, we got to have her do something at the tailgate because she likes coming to the games. She doesn't get to come to all of them, but cheerleading outfit, picking Marshall to win 2010 doesn't get any better than that.
7th birthday to remember.
That is.
That's for sure.
Now, I would be remiss if I let her on there and did not let her older sister on. So here comes
my other living good friend.
I'm going to let her get her ears on first.
Yeah. She's got to hear what I'm saying about her.
Sorry, I was having a little bit of trouble.
A little bit of
quite all
trouble,
right.
that's okay.
That's
So
quite all right.
tell them what your name is.
My name is Caitlin Sloan Livingood.
All right, Caitlin. And we're over here today at...
The Marshall homecoming game, right?
That's right. It's the Marshall homecoming game. And this particular thing that we're doing right now is...
We are tailgating.
And what did you have to eat at our tailgate?
Peanut butter jellies.
Uncrustables.
Uncrustables.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A crowd favorite, apparently.
It is with the kids. What do more people are eating non-Uncrustables over here? What do we have over here?
So we also have my dad's made pepperoni rolls. My dad made them.
Yeah, we've got
Classic.
over 100 pepperoni rolls.
Nobody's eating these yet, but
yeah, they are. Do you not see them?
No,
over
I'm
here?
saying something else.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about something
okay.
else.
I'm sorry.
They're not eating these here, but yet. But there's cupcakes here for my sister's birthday.
That's right.
Quick shout out to my sister who was just on here. Happy birthday.
She's about to dethrone you as a co-host. I'm just telling you. She's
Yeah.
like already seamless with this. Shout out to my sister. It's her birthday.
You're not going to find any shy bone or anything in this girl's body. Trust me.
Put a headphones and her mic in front of her, and she's a natural. Bam.
All right, so
The
we've
reason
also
I'm such a natural is because I see it on YouTube a lot.
we also have over here, like I said, we've got pepperoni rolls, and we've also got pulled pork sliders and slaw. We have the cupcakes for the birthday. We've got plenty of.
Beer.
That's right. Herd Country Lager.
Not
And
just
then-
beer.
And then for us kids, we get to drink water and basically lemonade. Honest
Yeah,
kids.
that's-
Honest
Good
Kids,
choice.
Honest Kids fruit punch, and Honest Kids lemonade. We've got you
Yeah.
covered too, right?
Mhm.
That's right.
We don't just drink water here.
All right, now your sister, Evelyn Grace, picked someone to win. Who do you have winning today?
This is obviously going to be Marshall because this is the ThunderCast after all.
Sheesh. She's winning.
And-
She's killing it right now.
She is killing it. Home runs all around. And what score prediction do you have for Marshall winning today?
So I'd have to think this out a bit.
Okay.
Maybe around 38 to 20.
38 to 20. I would take that. KD, would you take that?
I'd take that all day.
I think
All
everyone
day.
would take that all day. So we're looking at huge herd victories over here in the eyes of my children. Don't know where
Yeah.
they would have gotten that.
I know, my dad. Obviously. We're a old chip off. We're a big chip off the old block.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. Now, Caitlin, thank you very much for joining the ThunderCast, and I want you to enjoy the rest of this tailgate, and we're going to get into those cupcakes right here in a few minutes.
Quick question:
Yep.
could we invite my brother Jackson on? Quick shout out to him.
Jackson is a little bit busy over there right now with his mom, but I feel like next year he's probably going to want to get on here.
He's
Yeah.
trying to stay
He's
cool
probably
and
vibing
shady.
right now. Well, Jackson's probably in deep game day vibes.
He's playing with a rock right
There you go. See?
Yeah, and he's also
playing with a
staring
rock.
at those little football, that little football thing. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like a football field, and technically it's a plate.
Yeah, it's a tailgating tray that is made up to look like a football field.
2 of them actually.
Yeah. Well, Caitlin, thank you. I want you to go enjoy yourself.
And hop off the thing.
Yeah, but thank you, baby, very much. You were a great co-host.
Dang, man, she fell right into that. That was like seamless.
She
Jeez.
does not miss a beat. Trust me.
I know. Like people that are going to go back, and if they do watch this and not watching live, but then go do watch it like after it's done, they're going to be commenting of how awesome your children are and how we're terrible. We should
Yeah.
just hand the reins over to them and let them go with it.
They are much better than you and I will ever be at anything.
At anything ever.
At anything ever. But no, we've got a bunch of people here. They're off camera and all around us. I can't see behind me. I'm not turning around, but everything that I see in front of me. We actually over here have a food truck trailer set up right behind the camera, like directly behind where the camera's pointing 180 degrees. And it's lobster trapping. So they've got some lobster rolls and other stuff over here. The C lot is filling up. I walked through the east lot. I had to park over there because I wanted my family to be able to park real close, have all the stuff for the kids. So I went over to my old spot, 34th East lot, walked through there. There's already a bunch of people over there. The west lot behind me, I know that when I drove by, it was banging. It looked very good. A lot of people out today. A lot of people. Looks real good.
The foot traffic behind you has picked up over the duration of us just streaming. So you can tell folks are now making their way to the lots, and we're now just around 2 hours before kickoff. Still, again, get your butt down to the stadium. It's $13 tickets, guys. If you're on the fence, if you're still considered $13. I mean, how can you not go? Look at the day. Look at the weather. If I was hoping it would be cold and a little bit, I don't want to say miserable, because I didn't want people to have a terrible homecoming experience, but I wanted that little bit of an edge weather-wise when it comes to, our run game versus their defense. But hey, I don't know how you can argue with this one. That's a whole bunch of tents I see off in the distance. Everybody looks like they're having a good time. This is a really good homecoming atmosphere, it looks like. And for a 7 p.m. kickoff, I was a little taken aback at that. You're thinking, ooh, this could be rough. But hey, it looks like it's going to be great. I'm sure it'll be chilly once the sun goes down. Let's talk about a few more things here, Russ, before we let you get back to enjoying the tailgate, right? We've got a few things we've got to talk about. Number one, we just give a handful of keys to victory. That's fine. We'll move on. Folks know if they listen to the show, they knew what we were going to say.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the tailgate itself, because normally we have a tailgate sponsor. We didn't have one for this one. Your daughter has alluded to the fact that you prepared a bunch of food for this tailgate.
Yep.
So talk about the tailgate situation a little bit. I know that it's also Evelyn's birthday. I don't think that's the coincidence behind it all.
That's
but
right.
you did end up preparing a bunch of food. So let's talk about the tailgate setup today.
Yeah, you know me. I like to tailgate, and I am not a professional like Kyle Walker, who has a smoker that is better than most people's house. And that's not a knock on Kyle. That is a promotion of Kyle and what he does. I mean, everyone that saw what we did, and the people that also helped him. But at our first tailgate, man, he throws down. I don't do a lot of that. I don't bring a smoker over or whatever. I bring cooking apparatuses and stuff like that. But today, I said, let's try to feed these kids stuff that they'll eat, but also feed the rest of the crowd, make it finger foods, that sort of thing. So we've got pepperoni rolls, homemade, and we have pulled pork sliders. We've got some slaw for everyone below the Mason-Dixon line that loves slaw on barbecue. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. We have cupcakes for the birthday, and we just did this a little bit on our own. It's kind of what I did before we had a ThunderCast Live tailgate show. I was constantly making food on my own. It doesn't bother me a bit to do that. However, the first 3 games, we had a great opportunity for our sponsors to have not only us be able to do this without someone having to take the time to prepare and do all that stuff that you have to do for a tailgate, but they also got to invite a lot of their customers, potential customers, and they got to throw their money toward a local company. Like we had Cam's Ham one game. We had Mountain State Farm, who sponsored using their own homegrown, I say homegrown, their own farm animals that they had. So it's a lot of local stuff from here in West Virginia. Our sponsors have paid it back to local, and that's kind of what ThunderCast is all about. We want to have local people spotlighted. Our local sponsors are spotlighted. This, we haven't even talked about it yet. We're going to have him over here hopefully pretty soon, but this is all powered by a local company, Ignite Link. That's what ThunderCast Live is all about, is local and everything. So Jed is in the truck right now. We're going to have him over here hopefully in a few minutes, but ThunderCast Live is all about local. And if you are out there and wanting to do any kind of sponsorship and come over here and bring some of your clients, feel free, just reach out to us, because we've had great success with the first 3 tailgates where we had sponsors over here and getting local people where we're spending our money with them.
Yeah, and well, let's also say that we have space, right? It's not like everybody's cramming into one parking spot. We have quite a bit of space over there on the C lot, as you can see. A little bit, you can see, but we have 3 parking spots that we keep together, and there's plenty of room, so we can
Yeah.
support your, clientele that wants to stop by and tailgate without everybody being on top of everybody else. So if you think this is something you might like to get behind, then yeah, come on over, because also in with that, you'll get an opportunity to, hey, look who stopped by, the third living good. We You'll have an opportunity to come on cam, talk about what you do and what you're bringing to the local area,
Yeah.
promote your business and all that sort of thing, and just support the herd and have a good time at a tailgate, because you're right behind the end zone. I can see it right there. I can see the end zone to Jones C. Edwards Stadium right over Russ's shoulder.
Yeah, we're gonna when it comes time. I mean, we are literally, right next to Gate G, which is in the south end zone. We're gonna walk right across the alley, 4th Avenue, and go in right there. So, anybody that wants to sponsor the food and tailgate for future games, as Jackson is hitting the microphone,
Singing a little bit.
little bit. We're
Yeah.
we're right here, real close, and have your clientele come right back out at halftime, at the end of the game. It's a great spot. You're not going to get any closer. You're not going to be cramped. We have plenty of room, a lot of room behind us, a lot of room behind this camera that you can't see.
So the next opportunity will be here in a couple of weeks for 75 week with Appalachian State. That's a game that I'm really excited about, because I get to make another trip back to Huntington, West Virginia, and be in town for another herd game. I haven't been able to come back since the opener. I really wanted to make a second trip back, and this is the game that I was able to secure some time to make the trip back. So really looking forward to being back in Jones C. Edwards Stadium. Really looking forward to experiencing a ThunderCast tailgate right there on the C lot with everybody else having a great time. Let's talk about the Big Green, Russ, because as we are also very much about supporting local, it doesn't get much more local and supporting Marshall than Marshall. And the best way to support Marshall is obviously join the Big Green, right?
Yeah, got to join the Big Green. $5 a month, man. $5 a month, and all that money is going to help our athletes. And the more money that we raise for these scholarships for the athletes, the more money we can spend on things making the rest of Marshall athletics as successful as it can be. $5 a month. With that $5 a month, you get way more in savings than you could ever pay in $5 a month if you're already going to some of the places that make this herd perks worth it. These local vendors, these local business owners, they are doing so much in the community with these herd perks that they're giving away, some of them 10% off, 15% off, different perks, that sort of thing, where $5 is nothing. You're already spending this money with them. You would actually be saving money if you joined the Big Green, and you would also be helping our athletic department by doing so.
That's right, man. I mean, now we say $5 a month because that's
You
you can donate anything, right?
But that's the minimum.
That's the easiest way to get involved. And I talked about this several weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, that Marshall, the Big Green, finally rolled out what they're calling the Herd Forever Pledge. So if you want to start your $5 a month thing online and you get it all set up, all you got to do is click a box.
Yeah.
There, one additional box that says, the Herd Forever Pledge. So that just is a perpetual $5 a month in perpetuity. It's not going to stop until you stop it. So again, I get to bring in the tagline from the famous Ron Popeil Showtime Rotisserie Grill. All you got to do is set it and forget it. And the only time that you have to access it is if you want to stop making donations, or if you want to increase your donation level, you can do that, and then you can set it and forget it for $10 a month or $25 a month or whatever. So, Russ mentioned the 10% off and 15% off. All these herd perks, basically all around town in places that you probably are already eating, places you are already shopping. If you go buy a couple of new herd shirts, hats, sweatshirts, or whatever over at Glenn's, you're going to get a significant portion of that $60 a month back, or $60 a year back.
Yeah.
That $5 a month. So and even if you don't get it all back, you're going to offset your donation to Marshall to where your $5 a month may equal out to $2 a month. I mean, everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody can do that.
They're not sponsors. We're not bringing this up, but let's, no ulterior motive, but let's bring up a couple that people are familiar with. Austin's Ice Cream, Black Sheep Burrito, TikTok Tire, CF Rush Line, Glenn's. There's these places that have been here forever that most people in the tri-state are already frequenting. All you're doing is saving money off of what you're doing already. It's going to pay for itself, or as you said, come close to it. And you're helping Marshall Athletics and all of our athletes. And that's right. That's what we want to do here at the ThunderCast.
The more money that we can raise, right, and the more money that we can donate, the more donors that we bring on board, the booster base grows. And we have graduates every single year that are, starting out into the world and making their way, and even they can afford $5 a month just to, stay close to the herd. Even if you can't be a season ticket holder, you live far away or whatever, that is a way that you can directly support herd athletics. And let's talk about, like, we're trying to build a baseball stadium, right? The more donations we can bring in on the big green to offset for scholarships and things like that, that's more money that we may have available in the athletic budget to put towards projects like that.
Yeah.
So all these things you want to see, they cost money. And where does that money come from? Well, a lot of it's from the budget, the athletic budget, but a lot of it is from the passionate fan base like me and you, and the folks that listen to our show, the folks that are behind you going to these games, the folks that are off camera that are standing there tailgating. There's just no good reason not to be a Big Green member, period.
KD, we've also got the birthday girl back over here. Before we get Jed to come over and talk a little bit about Ignite Link, I'm going to have the birthday girl. She's got the mic. She wants to talk. Go ahead, Evelyn. No. What goes up?
I like birthdays because I get the cheese and birthdays.
You are just sweet. Do you know that?
Sweet.
We just need to bottle you up and sell you.
Herd Country Evelyn. There it is, right there.
We
She
love
is
you,
sweet.
Evelyn.
I love you, Daddy.
All right, we're going to have Mr. Jed come over and talk about his business, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go have fun, and we're going to have some cupcakes right here in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. While Jed's making his way over, I just want to say how cool it is to continually, I want him to hear this. I think it's so cool to continually be able to say things like, Jed's over in the truck.
Yeah.
Like we're CBS Sports or something like that.
Well, we are. We're better.
That's just cool.
Yeah.
Can you even
It's
compare
just a
the two?
neat.
No.
It's just so cool to be able to say our producer's over in the truck making this all happen.
And I like to mention this every time, but Jed brings up that this is not what he does. He's like, this is not what we do. But look what we're doing, right?
Yeah, right.
And
we're producing. Well, we're not. We're just yammering into two microphones.
Yeah, I
But
don't
Jed
do a
is
thing.
Jed is producing a live tailgate show
Yeah.
between two knuckleheads that are
Right.
nearly 900 miles apart.
Right.
And making it look really, really good.
So imagine what he does in his day job, which I'm going to let Jed talk about right now. We have this set up every week by Ignite Link. We're powered by Ignite Link. ThunderCast Live, powered by Ignite Link. So, Jed, tell everyone a little bit about Ignite Link?
Yeah, absolutely. Ignite Link is we are a managed services provider in the local Huntington tri-state area. We specialize in managed IT services from we manage your network down to your PCs, to your servers, to everything technology that your business needs to run. So at the end of the day, you can break it down into two words that we call business continuity. Most businesses run on, computers, right? And networking. So if those computers go down, then people are unable to work.
Sure.
If you can't access your data, you can't bill, you can't invoice. And so what we do is we provide you a all-encompassing solution for your business that allows you to keep your business up and running with a predictable monthly service that we provide for you.
And that is cheaper because they don't have all of the overhead that they would have to have a dedicated IT in-house, all the benefits that they would have to pay a team and that sort of thing. They can outsource that, save themselves money, and as we all know, if we are down, any company that we are around right now is all computer driven.
Right.
If we are down for 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever, it is a lot more expensive on that company versus what they would pay to have your services.
Right, absolutely. So with that, along with our bundled services, you wonder what antivirus you want or you need to use, or what kind of backup solution you need, or a firewall or PC or a piece of equipment. We do all that for you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's very budget friendly compared to hiring somebody. If you hire us, you get a team of people that will work on your work with you in your environment to custom tailor the services around what you need. So everything we do is customer oriented and very custom to your environment. So that way you're getting the most bang for your buck.
I like to bring this up too. Jed, how did we get together?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was scouring the interwebs, looking for any kind of Marshall content that I could get, Marshall athletic content. So I stumbled across you guys about 4 or 5 episodes in. I went back to the beginning, listened all the way through, and was like, man, these guys I like what they're doing.
You found us because you are a massive Herd fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that our viewers like to know that sort of thing. So if you use Ignite Link, you're using local people right here in Huntington, and they're Herd fans. This is not something that they're just doing on the camera. The reason they found us is because they are massive Herd fans. So Herd fans want to do business with other Herd fans. They're local. That plays.
Right, absolutely. So, yeah, we're definitely, me and the rest of our team, definitely Herd fans. And again, that's how we came across you guys with what you're doing with the podcast. Because I was looking for content on Marshall athletics, and so as soon as I heard your all's podcast, like I said, I went back through, listened all the way through, and I was like, I've got to get in with these guys somehow. So that's when I slid into your all's DMs and was like, hey, how can we partner together? What can we do to help promote what you guys are doing?
Jed, how can anyone listening today, for this later as they replay it, how can they get a hold of you at Ignite Link? I know you've made it crazy easy for everybody. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is just branded Ignite Link. So website is ignite.link. Our Twitter handle is Ignite Link. Facebook is facebook.com/ignitelink. My email address is jed@ignite.link. So hit us up, DM us, or hit me up in an email, and we'll come down free of charge to you. Consultation is free. We'll take a look at your environment and come up with a strategy that best fits your need. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I mean, KD, I'll let you hop in here and ask any questions you want to Jed, or comment any you want to Jed, but it does not get any easier than what these guys have done. It's very easy to reach out to them. They are massive Herd fans, and they're doing everything the right way. They helped us a bunch to get this out here, this content for our fans. KD, what do you have?
Well, I should let everyone know that also, if you're listening to the ThunderCast via audio episodes or on the YouTube channel, you're watching our video podcast. If you want to get in touch with those guys at Ignite Link, all you got to do is go to any description of any show, and the contact info is down there in the description. The website, the Facebook page, the phone number if you just want to pick up the phone and call is on there, as well as the Twitter handle. We also make it incredibly easy to get that contact information from for Ignite Link, because hey, if you've got a need for what they got, we want you to find them. We don't want you to waste time calling 10 other people. Just go to the people that can make it happen for you the first time out the gate, and that is Jed and Josh and the guys and gals at Ignite Link.
That's right.
So let me ask you this, a little shameless plug on our own behalf, because I haven't asked this of you yet. You talked about finding our show and saying to yourself, okay, I like this, I want to get involved with this. How easy was that for you to be a part of what we were doing? Because there may be some other folks out there on the fence, and as a sponsor of the show, you can speak directly to those folks and say, what?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started, I pulled you guys up on Twitter. That's where I ran across you guys. I started direct messaging, and I believe I was halfway through writing my message, and Russ shows up at my office. And he's just like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm Russ. So wasn't quite that quick, but it was Russ came down, talked to us, made sure that this would be a good fit. Made sure that I was actually real and local.
Yeah.
But no, it was super simple. Talked to you guys. We came up with an arrangement. We had the idea. You guys had already had the idea actually for ThunderCast Live, and between our collaboration, I thought this was, hey, I think this is something that we could help you with. So super simple, guys. If you want to get the word out on your business, or just be a part of something really cool, whether it's being a food sponsor at ThunderCast Live, or a segment sponsor like we are on the ThunderCast podcast. Super simple. Hit these guys up. I think it's a great fit for your business. Why not advertise with the people who are Marshall fans like yourself? And again, it was a no-brainer for me to be in with these guys, advertise and help them in what little capacity that we could in producing ThunderCast Live, and as well as being a segment sponsor with ThunderCast.
Well, Jed, thank you very much. And as you can see, my oldest daughter, Caitlin, who was on the show earlier, has brought us a couple of pepperoni rolls. And we're going to maybe take one little bite, not gorge ourselves in front of the camera, but
well, all right, I'm gonna
just a little
I'm
right
try
here,
one here
to show everyone that what we've got. If you're around the lot, come by and see us.
Good.
Got a bunch of people over here eating, but we're kicking it live. We've got some Herd Country Lager over here. Got some pepperoni rolls. Got some pulled pork sliders. Cupcakes for my daughter's 7th birthday. Come by and see us. But KD, I'm gonna let you say any kind of final thoughts, so we can take it out here.
Yeah, that's perfectly a-okay. I wish that I was there. I'm a little sad right off the bat that Jed escaped real quick. I was going to try to steal a score prediction from him, since we've gotten one basically from everyone except for him. But maybe when he returns to back in the truck,
yeah, he'll be able to give us a score prediction from the truck.
Yeah,
I didn't even do the score prediction, guys.
I know. So okay, you're back with ears and a mic. So what's the score prediction before I give the final words and get us out of here?
Guys, I think we break 30 today. I think we do it. I think LeBourne has a really great game. I think we open up the passing game a little bit more, like we saw towards the end of the JMU game last week. And I think we do. I'm going to give us 32 to 28 in a close game.
All
Very
right.
good.
So me and Evelyn, me and the birthday girl, are the only two that do not see the herd cracking 30. I was good for 24 to 17 in a tight one, if you'll recall from the weekly ThunderCast episode. Evelyn says 20 to 10. Russ was a closer tight game, but over 30, 32 to 23 in favor of the herd. Caitlin, who has now joined Russ again over there on the ThunderCast set, says 38 to 20, and Jed rounds it out with 32 to 28. We'll see. Somebody's going to be damn close, and we'll see who that is at the end of the game. But look, I should say I'm really not sad, but I'm disappointed that I couldn't be there, right? Because it looks like a great time. I see some old friends, some great friends standing around earlier when Jed was panning the C lot and showing who all's standing around. I'm really also bummed because usually when I come into games, your girls aren't there, which are two of my favorite people in the world, and Jackson is just he and we hang hard. That's all I'm saying. He's a cool dude too. So all the kids are there, and I don't get to hang with them. I will get to see them hopefully in a couple of weeks because I will be back at this point for Appalachian State and the Herd for 75 week. Looking forward to that. We need to see a big win today. Let's see if Caitlin Laborn continues to run wild. Would be a great opponent to run all over since Old Dominion is fresh off of the heels of doing that. But that's all I got. I'm just ready to get some dinner in my belly and settle in and watch the Herd and a chance for Herd homecoming.
Well, we're going to celebrate homecoming, and we're going to celebrate Evelyn on her 7th birthday. I'm going to let Caitlin, and I don't know that she knows their normal send-off, but I'm going to let her take us out of here. Caitlin, what do you want to say to sign off for ThunderCast Live?
First, I just want to tell Mr. Kenny we miss him here, and thank you for the compliment. I also
So
want to
sweet.
say that, well, it's good to be on the Thundering Herd, and let's hope that Marshall wins. So, let's wrap this up, and bye.
All right. There you go.
I'll say, no matter where you see us, if we're at a 7th birthday party at a tailgate, we're going to be screaming, "Go Herd."
Go Herd. It's ThunderCast Live. We'll see you. I guess for the regular show here in a couple